O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down in the driver's seat, and when I rise up through the gears. You discern my thoughts from a car.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Try again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That's better. It's much better. Welcome to another Thoughts from a Car, the ramblings of an idiot. And today, not. They say you should begin everything with a joke, everything you say with a joke, but it's not really that sort of topic. Sort of thing that came into my head fairly recently was all about the subject of assisted dying. Ooh, what a fantastic subject. Yes, not a very nice one. And obviously, if you've seen any of the other videos I've done, I did talk about my mum whenever she was terminally ill and eventually passed away. And so this is obviously connected to that. Now, in the past, I was very much against assisted dying. It was something that I thought was wrong, and slippery slope and all that sort of stuff. Over the years, my opinion has changed somewhat, and with my mum's, the last few months of my mum's life, it just really confirmed what I'd sort of been thinking anyway, in that I'm sort of generally in favour of it. Now, I know people say use the slippery slope, and I would have done that as well. And what if it's not terminal illness? What if it's people with like a non-terminal but chronic and debilitating illness or disease? But it's not about that. I'm thinking primarily about people who are terminally ill, who don't have like a 50-50 chance of getting through it, or even a 30% chance, or even a 10% chance. I mean, we're talking about people who are definitely dying, and they have no other option. And the thing, of course, when people are dying is it's never the case where you start off and you get, you feel better and better, and isn't life wonderful? And then suddenly you die. You start off from a position of relative good health, and then it's a downward trend, and sometimes it can be very rapidly downhill. And it's about losing your dignity and about losing any sense of control. Not that we have control in life. There are very, very few things we actually control, but it's the feeling that you've no way of influencing how things are going to turn out. And whenever my mum was ill, and if somebody was coming out to the house, one of the hospice nurses or whoever it was, and I would say to her, "Mum, tomorrow so-and-so's coming out to see you. If you can think of any questions you want to ask her, that would be great." And she would go, "Oh, well, and I said, no, stop you there. She doesn't know how long you have left to live." Because that was the only question that my mum ever wanted answered. How long have I got left? How long before I die? And every other question was just supplementary or even irrelevant. And in the last few months of my mum's life, her quality of life just degraded desperately, and it was a horrible thing to watch. And you felt helpless, and you felt useless, and it was just awful. And I know her pain levels went up, and her mobility went down, and then her continence went down, and it was just horrific. And she wasn't eating for the last 2.5, maybe 3 weeks. So I was watching her slowly starve to death. Just horrible, horrible, horrible. And I know, not for a fact, but I am almost sure that if she was given the option for assisted dying, she would have taken it. And I know, not for a fact, but relatively surely and relatively certainly, that if I was asked to be on board for that I would have said yes. Now, there is a difference in me, pushing the button that gives the lethal injection or switching the machine off or whatever it is, whether I would have done that. And I know, thinking about it now, I would have felt very unsure about that, or it may have been problematic. But I know rationally that it would have been the right thing to do, and I know that it would have been the thing my mum would have wanted. So, anyway, it's a cheery subject, isn't it? Cheery subject. But I am for assisted dying. I think in cases where there is no hope of recovery, where everything is just going to slowly or quickly get a lot worse, that it's an option. It gives a sense of dignity back to people who are in the situation. So anyway, well, look after yourselves. Look after your loved ones, especially ones that aren't particularly well. Look after those you don't particularly love, because that's, as a society, how we mark ourselves as being civilized and decent. And sure, I shall see you sometime in the near future. Okay now, take care, bye-bye.